All right, I'm Mike Moranto, reporting for DamonWildcats.com, and I'm joined right now by our head men's basketball coach, Mike McDonald, for our weekly update on the Damon men's basketball program. And Coach, 1-1 record last week. You guys wrapped up your 4-game homestand to start the season. A 69-55 loss to Mercyhurst last Tuesday evening, and then you guys bounced back with a nice 79-73 win over Wilmington. So we'll talk about both games. Let's start with the Mercyhurst game. I think the 14-point spread in the final score was a little bit, not indicative of the way the game went. They kind of pulled away late. It was a close game for the majority of it, but they really made tough for you defensively.
Yes, they're a very good team. As we talked about beforehand, they're very, very disciplined defensively, and we didn't make shots. I mean, we were up at the half. We had a 4-point lead, I believe, at the half, and we thought we were in pretty good shape. And then we had some good shots to start the second half. Couldn't score, and it led to some runouts by them. And they got us in transition. Our transition defense wasn't good in the second half, and they were able to get a lead. They kept their lead, and then as you said, it went from a 6 to 8 point game to 14 by them making free throws at the end. So they're they're good. That's not a surprise. I thought they were a really good team, a veteran team, and well-coached team. But we bounced back nicely on Saturday, which we had to do, and I thought was real important for us going into the Thanksgiving holidays, try and get a win and beat a Wilmington team that was 2-1 and coming off a great win of their own.
Yeah, I think the Mercyhurst is a team that I think 5 times in the last 10 or 12 years they've been in the top 10 in the country as far as points per game allowed. So you kind of knew going into that one it was going to be tough sledding offensively. But then you said it, you guys bounced back. A Wilmington team that had 19 wins last season. Kind of take me through. You guys, the story going into that one was kind of through 3 games, you guys offensively really needed to jumpstart yourselves, I think. And you did so with 79 points against Wilmington. We
had 40 points at the half, which was like a game or like 3/4 of the game against Mercyhurst. I thought, Mike, we did a much better job moving the ball, finding guys and creating shots for others, of also driving the ball. I thought it started right off the bat with Alex Milinovic getting to the hoop, and I think he scored 9 points. It might have been our first 9 points or something like that, by just attacking the basket. And once we did that, it opened up some of the jump shots, which we still didn't shoot a great percentage, but we took much better shots, I thought. And now, we made our free throws, and that was big because we didn't turn it over, and then we made our free throws. So that usually helps you win a game.
Through 4 games, you guys 3-1 overall, and I think you've had 3 different leading scorers in the 4 games. Is that something that you're striving towards to make sure that your team is balanced offensively?
I think, Mike, that's the way we're going to be. I think that's kind of who we are. I mean, in the past we had, a Gerald Beverly, we had a Torrance Dyke, we had a Reef. We had different guys who could kind of be that leading scorer. This year it's different. The other thing that's different too is some of our younger guys, Jeff Redband, Deion Hamilton, they were a little bit down lower on the opponent's scouting report in the past, where teams last year would look at a Reef and they'd look at Supreme Hannah and they'd say, hey, we got to stop those guys. And so Deion and Jeff were secondary guys. Now all of a sudden those guys become primary guys and guys that maybe teams are gearing their game plan around. And so if it's not them on a certain night, we're going to need other guys. I thought Andrew Sisko and Jay Sarkis were great the other day for us, and we're going to need other guys. And we had, I believe it was 28 points out of our center position between Alex and Andrew, and that's a really good, productive night for us out of the center spot.
Yeah, I want to ask you about Andrew specifically because it was kind of like a microcosm of the week. He struggled on Tuesday against Mercyhurst. I thought he made some really nice moves, got himself some good looks at the basket, just didn't finish. I think he shot 2 for 10. Comes back, huge game against Wilmington. He had 17 points. I think he was 8 of 8 from the free throw line, 4 of 6 from the field. So, what did you see from Andrew throughout the week of practice that gave you confidence going to him Saturday?
Well, you know what? It's not just what we saw through the week of practice, Mike. It's what we saw throughout the whole year, and getting into this. He's really developed. He's been great. You would look at it, he's one of the best players for us, whether we played Buffalo or went to some of our scrimmages. He was really good. good. And he had a bad game against Mercyhurst, and he's a freshman, playing at a high level against veteran guys. And, like you said, he made some really good moves where he was point blank at the rim, and he just missed them. And unfortunately, that's what happens. And I think always, too, with the big guys, it's easy for all the little guys to yell at him, how do you miss that? Come on. And he's an easy target to pick on. But in the end, he did the work. He made the move. He just didn't quite finish it. He went back to work at practice, worked really hard, getting ready for Wilmington. And you saw the product out there. I think he can be a really good player in this league. I've said this every time I think we've met to do one of these interviews. He's got the potential to be a really good player in the ECC. He's going to keep working. I know that. He's got the work ethic. There are things he has to get better at. But I'm pretty confident he will, because he's worked really hard to put himself in a position now to be a good player, and I think the sky's the limit for him.
One of the concerns in the second half Saturday was defensive rebounding. Good problem. You're forcing a lot of missed shots. I think Wilmington shot 25 or 26% in the half, but they were really chasing down some offensive rebounds, and that led to a big disparity in the rebound margin in the game. Is that something that you're concerned with moving forward?
Always a concern. Rebounding is always a concern. You worked for me, that's something we always talk about. But what happened was they spread us out. They beat us off the dribble, forced a lot of rotations, some mismatches on the box outs, and we didn't do a very good job boxing out. One of the things Andrew needs to work on still to continue to get to that point. Andrew was used to being the biggest guy on the floor in high school, that he can just jump and get the ball. Now all of a sudden you have another guy who's the same size or maybe a little taller and a little longer. You have to work on pushing him back and boxing him out and keeping him away. And it's not just Andrew. It was a lot of guys didn't do it. We were content to be even and be jumpers, and we have very few guys who can be jumpers on our team. We have to be box out guys, and we have to get the ball below the rim, and we did a poor job. And credit Wilmington, they went out once we got a little bit of a lead. Man, they wanted the ball. They were hungrier and they wanted the ball. So something we have to address, and we have to keep hammering on, and hopefully we'll get better as the year goes on.
Overall, I thought the defensive effort, taking that into account, the defensive effort was pretty good. You guys held Jermaine Head was Wilmington's leading scorer coming in at over 20 points a game. He was held to, I think, 9. And Sean Church, who was actually their leading scorer in the game, hit 5 3-pointers, I think all in the first 28 or 29 minutes of the game, and you guys held them without a 3 over the last 10 or 11 minutes.
We decided to get a hand up and contest a little bit.
That usually helps.
After a while.
So a little bit of a break this week. You guys will go on the road for the first time coming up this weekend at Slippery Rock on Sunday. What are you thinking about as the team heads into Thanksgiving, and you guys will be on the road for the first time?
Well, it gives us a good chance, gives our guys a chance to go home, get a little break over a couple of days over Thanksgiving, and then be back at it for practice. And we're going to face a very good opponent. Slippery Rock is 2-2. They just lost to Shippensburg, who's ranked in the top 15 in the country by 2 or 3 points. And that's one of their 2 losses. They are extremely well coached. Kevin Reynolds does a really good job. They have a transfer, Micah Till, who played football at NC State, North Carolina State. He transferred to a junior college to play basketball for a year, and he's averaging 20 points a game right now for Slippery Rock. So we're gonna have our work cut out for us. Obviously, going on the road will be good for us, but we've been on the road with scrimmages and exhibition games, so shouldn't be that much of a difference for us. But it will be an adjustment, and then have to turn around after Sunday's game and play a quick turnaround with an Edinboro team that just actually beat Shippensburg last night. So we got a busy week coming up, so we'll need the break, get ourselves healthy, feeling good, get a chance to get home, eat some turkey, and then come back and hopefully hit the ground running as we get going with 2 very tough PSAC teams coming up next week.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Edinboro, because I'm not sure you and I will have the chance to reconvene before that one. So we'll be on the road Sunday at Slippery Rock, Sunday, November 26th. That's a 2:00 game. And then back here at home on Tuesday, November 28th for an 8 o'clock tip against Edinboro. And as always, we'll have you covered at DamonWildcats.com with everything you need. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Mike.